We care. Okay, so yeah, this is a thing. I'm gonna obviously be getting into what this thing is once I open it, but I thought that this was kind of funny. Apparently they like completely wrecked the package and shipping somehow, so they had to like repackage this thing. I'm gonna point out this thing took way too freaking long to actually send to me. I ordered this like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But anyway, let me go ahead and open this thing up. I also would like to apologize for the humming in the background. That is the air conditioner. If I don't have that on, I might die. So it is a necessary accompaniment to this video. Having some excellent fun off screen here. Alright, so yeah, behold, it is a manila envelope. I should probably open this up. God, I see the back of it and I already see some good stuff. Remember this shit? Oh god, okay, so no. As I'm sure you can already tell from the title, this is not a Beanie Baby magazine video, surprisingly. The back cover of this would lead you to believe otherwise, but no. This is what we're going to be looking at, and notice down here, from the publishers of Mary Beth's Collector Card World magazine, the very same Mary Beth that brought us Beanie World, so that's why there's the tie-in there. But anyway, before I actually crack this thing open, let me explain why I'm doing this. I've explained my, I guess, origin to Pokemon a few times before, but as a recap again, it came out when I was in 4th grade, I think. It was like the big popular thing at the time, and for whatever reason, I still can't really give an explanation for this. I decided that I was going to try to stay away from this one because I was sick of basically getting into the new fads, getting totally obsessed with them, and then having everybody else move on and being the only one who still cared. Like, that had already happened a few times, even that young, and it just didn't really seem like something that interested me. I knew that there were video games, but I didn't really know much about them. The very little I saw of them, like, it's a very primitive RPG. I'm not a fan of that kind of game usually, so it's like I don't really care. The card game, whatever. I like to collect stuff, but I don't need another thing to collect. I'm already collecting Beanie Babies and all that stuff. And the show didn't really look that interesting to me. So, this went on for a while. My knowledge of Pokemon was very limited at best. And then, eventually, what actually ended up happening was I found an Abra card in, like, a Walmart parking lot, and I picked it up, and I'm like, okay, I see this is definitely a thing that exists, whatever. And, then, like, a few months later at somebody's birthday party, they gave out, like, goodie bags to everybody, and one of the things in that was a pack of Pokemon cards, so I opened mine up, and I don't remember what I actually got in the pack. I know I had an Arcanine. I can't remember if that was a star or a diamond, so I guess we'll find out when I look at the magazine. I'll be able to tell. But I looked them over, and I'm like, you know, I kind of actually like these. Maybe I should see what's going on with this. So I found either this magazine or one very similar to it. At the bottom there, it's Volume 1, Number 2. From what I can understand, looking up the information on this magazine that made me decide to want to get it in the first place, I think Volume 1, Number 1 was actually the Mary Beth Collector Card World, or like, I think it was like Mary Beth's Pokemon World or something, and it apparently didn't go over very much. I might have had that one. I don't remember if I did. I probably would have picked it up just from brand recognition alone. But I either had this magazine or one very similar to it, and I'm sure I'll be able to remember once I go through this. Well, actually, I know for a fact I had this magazine. I just don't know if this was the first one I had. And so my introduction to the Pokemon series was basically one of these magazines. And so I'm going to be revisiting it here, and hopefully going down a trip down memory lane, as you will. So let's just go ahead and go through. There's going to be a lot of ads, I'm sure. I'm not going to be spending too much time on those. Action flips. Lenticular action collectibles. But is it a lenticular bookmark of a smug team winking, though? That's the important question. Yeah, I recognize those beanies. I think Jeremy has that Polywhirl, actually. Okay, we're going to have to read this intro. Let's see. I don't know how much of this is actually going to be readable on screen. This camera seems to be a bit better than the last one. So let's see. The number one Pokemon website, Pojo.com. Is it actually the number one? Or are they just claiming that it is? I don't know. Okay. Full color images of every U.S. trading card, including the hot new Fossil series. Okay, so actually, and there's this fucking fly. Is the fly going to show up on camera? I don't know if the fly's going to show up on camera, but there's this fly going around everywhere. Anyway, that right there tells me this is not the very first one that I had, which is a little disappointing, because I know that Fossil wasn't out for the first magazine I looked at, and that was a big part of me learning all the Pokemon. So that's a little disappointing, but we'll keep looking at this anyway. So yeah, basically just what you'd expect. Master status is right around the corner for you. What does that mean? Like being a Pokemon master, I guess? I don't know. So anyway, here we've sure got the same exact Beanie Baby ad thing, except this time it's not. It's cards. Holographics, such as Mew. I didn't realize there was a holographic Mew. Unless they count the ancient Mew card. I don't know. Whatever. Hey look, ads. Hey look, a bunch of the same frame of Mewtwo from the movie. God. What's up, Doc? The Pokemon cast joins Bugs Bunny and friends at Warner Brothers Studios stores nationwide. Okay. I guess we'll find out what that means eventually. It's a derpy frickin' Charmander. Squirrel's not much better. Okay, still more ads. Pokemon Pinball apparently was something new. This camera is a little special. Yep, pretty much. This is a very worthwhile ad right here. Blockbuster. Let's just put a big stock art of Pikachu and absolutely nothing else. Alright. Well, we've got a mailbox. Let's take a look. First guy's fantastic. Okay. I like this one. I can't wait until the next issue. Your wait is over. You sure did get the next issue just to see our response to that. I don't even know. Banned Pokemon cards from my school. Why do they do that? Takes us away from recess. What does that mean? Can't concentrate at school. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I misread this. I thought it was, is there anything we can do to convince them otherwise? And then the response, Wisconsin. But no, I just misread that. Wisconsin would have been a really great response to that. Pokemon is a lot healthier than anything else you could do at recess, short of wind sprints. Wind sprints. Yeah, I don't even know. Alright, let's see. Video game portion. Short shrift. Short shrift. Is that even a word? It probably is, and I'm an idiot now, but I've never heard of that before. Look for their tips on playing Game Boy in an upcoming issue. Thanks for listening. Stop Star Wars cards. Okay. Yeah, I guess they did other cards before this. Pictures of all the cards. Yeah, it's like I never actually knew anybody who played the card game. People just collected it. Oh, there's that ad again. God. So anyway, I'm not going to zoom in on this constantly. If I find something funny, I'll zoom in on it, but I'm just going to kind of skim through these a bit. Are the Japanese versions as hot as the American trading cards? Where can you buy Japanese cards? Yeah, pretty much. Americans are worth more than Japanese counterparts. In the jungle set, the odds of getting a foil card are 1 in 33. One foil, about 3 packs. Japanese jungle sets have a foil in every pack. Yeah, I think I remember that. Like, in the American version of the cards, starting with the Jungle set. They did a regular and a holo print of all the rare cards. The Japanese only has the holo ones. Pikachu card with a gold E printed underneath the picture. E3, oh, E3 card, okay. I just loved Pokemon cards, but I get bummed out that I... one ad later. So yeah. Honestly, I'm not that interested in the card game, so I'm not going to be going, like, super in-depth on all this stuff, but it is kind of interesting to take a look at it. I heard there are really 155 Pokemon, not just 150 like on my poster. Can you give me the real answer? Let's see. Pokemon still being discovered. Pokemon Silver came out in Japan, introduced many Pokemon. So wait, they already came out. New Pokemon already appear in Japanese versions. There are about 165 that I've seen. Huh. That's weird. So the games already came out, but they haven't seen all the new ones, I guess. That gets into a whole other magazine that I don't have, but that's kind of funky. It's actually kind of funny because it's like in the actual games, it's like, oh, I believe there's 150 Pokemon in this world. Well, what about the Johto region next door? Oh, they might have some new ones, but I've not seen them, so I don't believe in them. Like, I don't know. Anyway, this picture right here. Going back to my story about how I learned about Pokemon and, like, basically learned all 150. This frickin' shirt, this shirt was my exposure to a lot of the Pokemon, because the first magazine I had didn't have the fossil set. And, so not every Pokemon had its own card yet. And so, this crummy, low-res... It's actually not that low-res, but yeah. Like, this image introduced me to all 150, because you can't really read the names on all these, at least not very well, but somewhere else in the magazine there was a list of all 150, and so I was able to, like, kind of cross-reference the two. And so, like, Tentacool, which is one of the most common and annoying ones in the game once you get Surf, didn't have a card yet, so I didn't know what it was. So that little tiny image of it, and obviously Tentacool right next to it, that was what I knew of them. So I'm like, okay, it's a blue blobby thing with big red eyes, and then eventually I found out that those were not its eyes. But from this image, could you really blame me? And I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones that only came out in Fossil, but that's just the first example that comes to mind. But yeah, I studied this image so frickin' much, and that was why I eventually came to memorize the order that they're in, because rather than flipping between the two pages of the shirt and the list, I found it easier to just kind of remember the order. And so, like, I wanted to be the cool kid who knew all about the Pokemans, so I forced myself to learn them all. And that never really stopped. As you may have seen, I have a video of myself reciting every single one in order. I did miss Mega Gallade, apparently. That was the only one I missed, though. Well, and Cosplay Pikachu. But that is an image that is a big part of my history, surprisingly. Oh god, Crazy Bones. Oh shit. That's a whole other thing I gotta talk about. Let's hold off on those for now. Let's see. Okay, I'm done. It's a Poke Power Surge. Hasbro buys Wizards. I like this. All Beanie Babies would be retired at the end of 1999. Yeah, that was a big thing. Okay. Not gonna be reading all that. I don't really care about the corporate buyout that much. How do you fortify cereal? Weird misplaced question mark. Mix in Pokemon. What? Okay. Here's another thing that was an early introduction to me, because I actually had this cereal box before I started to know about Pokemon. So, like, going off of this image, it's like, do you know their names? Can you match them? And so, going off of the 4 that they listed, like, I didn't know them at the time, but I knew Pikachu, and I could tell that the one on the left looked similar, so I figured it was Raichu. Charmeleon, I think I knew about, like, Charmander or Charizard, so I was able to piece that one together. And then it's like, there's Kingler and Pinsir. And I wasn't sure which was which, but I figured that this one is a King Crab, so it is Kingler. You'd think that I would have gotten, like, the Pinsir reference better, but I didn't. But yeah, I put that one together, and let's see what's the answer on this. Camera focus. Missing letters. Yeah, I probably didn't know most of those. Pikachu's on the bottom. I probably knew Meowth. Not sure. Yeah, I don't know which ones I actually knew at the time. I like how Caterpie, Metapod, and Butterfree are all in there for some reason. Are they all in this image? There's a Caterpie at the bottom down there. There's a Butterfree up here. Gotta find the hidden Metapod. It's important. Because there's a Clefairy, there's a Geodude. Where's the Metapod? Metapod, where are you hiding? Oh god, is that it? I found it. It was hiding in the corner all along. Yeah, I don't know. Why am I looking at this picture? Okay, so yeah. I still don't understand why they were named that. But yeah, Crazy Bones. What do they have to say about those? Pokemon Crazy. I don't think that ever happened. Crazy Bones were such a freaking waste of money, and I was... These were another thing that I collected a lot of. This is Top Hat, which was one of the rarest ones from what I remember, and it was also the biggest one. This is Scared, which was, I think, actually the last one of the original 60 that I ever got. This one was also really rare for some reason, and I think I got a glow-in-the-dark one that I had to buy, like, in a bone cage all by itself. Because I could never find one in, like, a freaking blind bag by itself. This one I think was called The Fly. I don't really remember that one that much. But yeah, Crazy Bones were a waste of money. They were just these random plastic pieces of shit that didn't do anything, that were just collectible for some reason. I will now have to get a Crazy Bone magazine and do a video on that. Bone cage necklace keychain. Yeah, God. As a Christian parent, I'm concerned because my child wants to buy Crazy Bones, but I looked at the list, and there are some based on supernatural entities like monsters and ghosts. Is it safe for my kid to play with Crazy Bones? Well, concerned parent, I understand your problem. Okay, I'll shut up. Alright, that is a weird-looking Pikachu card. I like how it has, like... What, has it been doing cocaine? Like, what's up with its face? Yeah, I don't know. Here's some of the gym leader sets. I stopped collecting the cards after the Rocket set. Also, it just got really freaking dark all of a sudden. I don't know why. It's only 3 o'clock. Let me turn the light on. And hopefully not... Oh, Jesus, there's a gigantic pile of dead bugs inside this lampshade. I need to not dump those on myself. Just I hope they're dead. Alright. Can't tell if that helped. I definitely recognize that thing on the left. Yeah, it was just a talking Pikachu thing. On Cyclone 2. What is this thing? Huh. Not sure. Alright, there's just some stupid stuff. Here's Ashby like, ah! Because that's how he usually sounds. It's a pinball machine of some variety. Like how there's just kind of a random amalgamation of crap in there that doesn't have anything to do with the board itself. Can you zoom a little better, please? Come on. Zoom. Zoom. There we go. It's like, yeah, let's just stick an Ekans up there. Pidgeotto. Yeah, why not? Here's some, like, Polly Pocket type stuff. I'm, like, the more I look at this magazine, the more I'm remembering seeing these images, but I definitely didn't have any of these. Official Pokemon Collector sticker book. Yeah, they still made those as late as Gen 4 at the very least. I don't know if they did any more after that. Charizard, once again, not looking its greatest. Okay. Not really a whole lot to say about that. I did have one of these. Ooh, actually, hold on. I've got a number of things here. So, yeah, I got this Pokedex eventually. This thing was a piece of shit. Basically, you could look up information on all 150 Pokemon. I forget if Mew was in there. It might have been. It claims that it is, but I somehow doubt that. You would have like this little like graphing calculator style image of it with 2 frames of animation, and it would say the stuff from the actual Pokedex, like the height and weight and the little description and stuff. But it would also give them a power rating out of 10. And I remember it being really questionable where these figures came from, because I think Mewtwo was a 7, when you'd think that it should be the strongest one. Golem was like a 1. It was really weird. And also, to look up the 2 Nidoran genders, because there was no female or male symbol on this, you either had to know their number, or you had to type, it was Nidoran S for the female, and Nidoran ... for the male, I think. Also, if you typed in Pidgeot, it wouldn't go to it. You had to type in 18. It was really weird. I also had that binder, and I had these because I mentioned it was 4th grade when Pokemon became big and I wasn't part of it. During the back-to-school rush to 5th grade, I got a 4-pack of the school supplies. There's the Bulbasaur pencil sharpener. You put the pencil in the back. It was pretty cool. This thing was apparently a stapler. I don't remember ever using that. There was a Poliwhirl that was a tape measure. Like you would you'd yank out the tape, and then the center spiral had like a little handle, and you'd spin it to roll it back in. And there was a 4th thing. I think it was a Clefairy, but I don't remember what it did. There's just some erasers, I suppose. Let me just grab my Mewtwo here and rub its foot on something to erase it. Never really understood weird shaped erasers like that. Yay! Okay, getting back to Beanie Babies for a minute. I remember these 3. Because usually Beanie Babies came out in large batches of like at least 12 or 15 or so. This was a group of 3. And I remember them being, like, I'm just being confused why they released such a small group of it. Let's see. Slowpoke. I don't remember Slowpoke. What was that? God, did I even have these? I think I did. I think that one was Chipper. Chipmunk. That one, Scaly, maybe? Going off the lists there. That was definitely Honks. That was Wallace, I think. There's Sheets the Ghost. Yeah, there's, I guess, Slowpoke the Sloth. Yeah, I didn't actually get all these. This was right at the point when I stopped collecting them, I guess because Pokemon took over my interest. I think that's Groovy. It's a tie-dye one with the same fabric as Fuzz, so otherwise it looks like Garcia, but it's a different texture. That's 1999 Holiday Teddy. I think that one's called The End, because it was part of the last batch before they retired everything. And I guess that's Tie 2K. God, the stupid Y2K thing, that was so dumb. Wait, hold on. Beanie Buddies, Amber, Silver, those are 2 cats. Fetch is a golden retriever, Slither's a snake. Spinner? I don't remember one called Spinner. Oh, no, yeah, I do. Spinner was the spider. Yeah. And Pumpkin, which I had. Gobble the Turkey. Snowboy. That's gotta be a typo. There was nothing called Snowboy. Halo. Spangle was, I think, the... What was Spangle? Glory was the bear with, like, the red and blue stars all over it. Spangle, I think, was another American-based one, but I don't remember what it looked like. And then Peace, Britannia Maple. The hell is Snowboy? They mean Snowball, the snowman? Never heard of Snowboy before. Anyway, iguanas. And we've still got, what the hell does Soul Calibur have to do with anything? Hold on. Alright, Pokemon Pinball. Score 4 control sticks, I guess. So I'm not going to read this. It is slightly flawed, but above average. Soul Calibur for Sega Dream. Why is this here? What does this have to do with anything? And it's weird that it's even being mentioned, because we actually played Soul Calibur 2 yesterday for the first time in, like, years. Okay, then. There's Sonic Adventure, apparently, which is 5 control sticks out of 5. Now, I don't care about Sonic Adventure, but I'm sure some people do, so let's zoom in and let people read this, if they want. Knuckles the Echidna, whatever that is. Amy the She-Hedgehog. Oh god, I remember this now. Big the giant fishing pole wielding cat. Yes, you read that correctly. That was the first time I ever heard of Big, was that article right there. And it was the only time I ever heard of Big until, like, 15 years later when I saw people making fun of him. Huh. There were actually 50 levels? It seems like a lot for a 3D platformer. She-Hedgehog. 6 games in 1. I can't help feeling slightly disappointed. Alright. So here is a collector card, apparently, that somebody already took out and left behind some, like, stains. Don't know what that originally was. Thai 1999 Company Picnic with Billionaire 2. God, the fucking Thai exclusive, like, employee bears. Those things were such a piece of shit. Because it's like, hey, we're only going to release like 50 of these and then allegedly not release them into the market, except like a couple of them will, and they'll sell for thousands. It's totally not artificial hype. Oh god, here we got late 90s website design. Let's behold this. Alright. What even is that? Excuse me. Okay. Pokemon the Pojo version. I guess? Huh. Alright. That sure is an Eevee. Is this the official Pokemon site? I can't. Yeah, it's Pokemon.hasbro.com apparently. God, that browser. Netscape Navigator. Apparently this was the Nintendo site, advertising Top Gear Rally 2, Rayman 2, Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko, Follows Me Everywhere, and Earthworm Jim 3D. Other than Rayman, which I can't say much about, but I hear it's good, got some real frickin' winners here, apparently. Pokemon Times. Behold, an Ivysaur looking left. Some pile that I can't really make out. I guess it's people playing the card game. Okay. Click on your favorite circle to get the scoop. Well, I want to know about Pokemon Pinball, personally. That's where it's at. Also, this stupid thing. I know that there's 150 Pokemon out there, but can you really say that any of them are as cute as Pikachu? I don't think so. Alright, guard your cherished cards. Speaking of Pikachus that have seen better days, this one down here is like just kind of a pile. I like that one. Okay, well here's the fossil set. Starting off strong with terrifying Aerodactyl. So yeah, I'm not going to go through each one of these. Type H, Type H, Type A, Type A, Type A, Type H. Okay, I know that stands for holofoil, but still. So here's my question. Did the Japanese cards not have numbering? Because the way that the Wizards of the Coast, like American ones, worked is they went Hollow, then Rare, then Uncommon, then Common, then Energy, or no, then Trainer, going off the same hierarchy, and then Energy, and they were ordered alphabetically. And I guess the Japanese ones didn't have that numbering system, because if they did, either they'd be numbered differently because their names are different, and it's a whole different language, or like if it did use the same ordering system, then that means that they like had the English names prepared ahead of time. I don't know. Wasn't there a... I think there was a Haunter in basic set. I guess they made a second one, just like how they made a second Raichu. I think there was a base, right? I don't even remember. I know that some of these were duplicates. This was, I think, other than the Jungle Pikachu, I think this was the first time they started repeating Pokemon. Yeah, here's the same exact cards, except not holographic. I remember getting a Zapdos at, like, some kind of, like, Easter get-together with my family. I got a pack of cards, and it had the Jungle Zapdos in it. And, on the drive home, it started snowing. And I'm like, it's April. Why is it snowing? And then I looked at the Zapdos card, and it says, a legendary Thunderbird Pokemon whose anger is said to cause storms. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe there's an Articuno out there, as if anybody else in the car would know what that meant. I don't know. Always hated this Graveler card, it just looks stupid. And this weird discolored Golduck that's, like, sitting in ice crystals. Like, that doesn't look like water to me. Here's just Golem rolling down a flaming mountainside. You know, as they do. What? You don't own the master weapon of master... Yeah. So I never actually finished talking about the stupid Pokedex. So I mentioned I had mine. I went to a birthday party for some other kid once, and I got him one of these, not knowing that he didn't like Pokemon. And he's like, oh, okay, thanks. And I found out later that he didn't. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry if it was kind of a crappy present. And he's like, no, it's okay. I like the dancing Sandshrew. It's my favorite. Oh, God. The stupid bootleg brown Charizard. I remember this magazine, too. I didn't have this one, but I remember seeing pictures of it. Like, who the fuck are you? And why are you sitting on a bootleg brown Charizard? What is this? This one's like, ha! I throw down a face down. Recycle. Always good art. Lord Helix. Well, here we go. Getting into the movie stuff. Apparently the movie was not out yet. Pokemon, the first movie, continues to follow the adventures of Ash Ketchum and his pals in his quest to become the greatest Pokemon master ever. Yeah, he never really accomplishes that, just spoilers. This time Master traveled to a remote island for the ultimate battle against Pikachu. Why did I say Pikachu? Ultimate battle against Mewtwo, a master trainer and the world's most powerful Pokemon. Troll Master's considered his skill masters trust himself and his Pokemon playing power to triumph. In this case, you've been living in a cave the past years, happy kind of who's who in the Pokemon world. It's a must info for a must-see movie. Alright, so let's see these important character blurbs. So we got main character, Pokemon Adventures, trying to get in catch them, get it. Okay. Cuddly and cute and capable. Yeah, that's about all you can really say about Misty. She's kind of bland otherwise. No, she used to have a personality, and then Togepi happened. Here's, yeah, pretty much. I like how becoming a Pokemon breeder was such a vague goal, it never really got explained. So, Jesse, James, and Meowth don't get separate entries, they're just lumped into one. Alright. This is a play-by-play. Yeah, you've already mentioned Frankenstein once, we get it. We know you're wired about Pokemon the first movie. So why don't you check out our amazing, excellent website, PokemonMovie.com, except it's not actually their website, so I don't know why I said that. With the 3 newest, there's now a total of 150. Says who? So we had 151 already, and then the first movie introduced Snubbull, Meryl, and Donphan, so that should be 154. Plus we already knew about Togepi, so that's 155. And Ho-Oh was never mentioned by name, but it was in the first episode, so that's another one. Huh. Also, what the fuck are these other things? Like, that should already be known. I mean, I'd never say it that way. I say Pokemon, but whatever. And this, like, yeah, it was. So is every episode of the show. Why are you saying this? What the hell? Oh, man. Let's see, did they mention Frankenstein anymore? Super suspenseful. I've got to read this description. This is amazingly bad. Alright. Zoom. Zoom. Okay. Super suspenseful home. Without giving away all the movie surprises, we can tell you that Ash and his friend realize it's up to them, the new Pokemon. No, it goes down here. I just hate it when text doesn't wrap in a way that makes sense. Oh god, Pikachu's vacation is 22 minutes long? I thought it was way shorter than that. Pikachu's vacation was freaking weird. I didn't understand the point of it. I saw that movie in the theater with my grandma, and as we were watching it, we were just both like, what? What is this? Like, I mean, the actual cartoon itself was okay, but the weird interjections of, like, drug trips, I don't... Why was that? Why was that a thing? Executor. Oddish. Executor. Oddish. Come on. Work. Work better. Work better. Can you zoom? Do I have to stick my finger up in this thing? Like, there we go. Well, Snubbull spelled wrong, but actually is Meryl? Yeah, Meryl only has 1 R. Well, they were close enough. It's hard to believe that this phenomenon all started as a simple computer game in Japan called Pokémon Monster before Game Boy by Satoshi Tajiri. That's oddly specific, but okay. Hottest singing sensations. In other words, let's replace all the good music with fucking Britney Spears and NSYNC. Like, The Iron, Britney Spears. Available on home video and TV. Alright. Well, that was a nice distraction. Oh hey, it's this thing. I remember these. Here's Rediba. You know, Rediba. My favorite grass type. I mean, I can't make fun of that because that's just how the card game worked, but I always thought that was kind of derpy. Yeah, I don't really understand what the point of these were, but I remember them existing. There's Mew. Oh, maybe that, I guess that's the holographic Mew they were talking about. Okay. There's a Slowking. So how about all these new Pokemon that we don't know about? Oh, now here's Meryl with 2 R's and 1 L. The way that Meryl, it's spelled on Maryland. Okay, so what's the deal with this? I'm not zooming in on this anymore. I don't really care enough. Hold on. You can't just say Dubba Dubba WB and not have me point that out. What the Also, is this Comic Sans? It's like taller than usual, but I'm pretty sure it is. So, what was the point? guess they just had a bunch of merchandise or something. I don't really know. Center Tokyo. Don't really care too much about this either. You will, however, find the taxis scrupulously clean. Well, that's good to know. Ooh, here we've got some excellent merchandise, such as reach into this baby's chest cavity. You know, that thing. And Pikachu shits out cotton candy. It's probably shaved ice, but still. Mouse pointing at a smaller mouse in his knapsack. Let's see what other stuff I'm gonna make fun of here. This. Okay, I'll stop. I might have to go through this magazine and actually read it at some point, but I don't want this video to be freaking like 2 hours long like the last one. Hey, look, there's Rediba, and what are we gonna call this one? Elikido or something? God. Why are there Raichu batteries? What is this stuff? This thing I think might actually be fairly valuable. I don't remember for sure. I'm not really in on the whole rare hardware stuff. Hey, look, here's some Pikachu-themed jelly donuts. Here's Furikake. They're all just kind of looking left so they can get to that. Whatever that is. Okay. Okonomiyaki, a Japanese type of pizza, what with a fried egg on it? It's kind of weird. Excuse me for not knowing Japanese treats and foods and stuff. Small morsels of chewing gum. Alright. Japanese eating utensils, not chopsticks. The kids won't know what those are. I mean, they might not. Okay. Your purchased goodies go in here. What, a red square? I guess it's like a baggie. I don't know. Frisbee. Featuring the ever-iconic Oddish and Electrode. Everyone's favorites. I do like how Poliwhirl finds its way onto everything. Also, hold on. So I guess I didn't really realize this was the case now, but seeing all the like Lediba Elekid stuff earlier and now seeing this proves to me without a doubt that the second movie was already out in Japan by the time the first movie was being translated for the US. I didn't realize we were that far behind at first. Anyway, fucking Snorlax owned in this movie. What is that? Is that Egg Babies? The trees are huge. Okay, I should probably stop quoting that video, but it's too easy. Come on, zoom better. Zoom better. That's not Raichu, dick. That's fucking Pikachu. Sorry. I remember seeing this page because I eventually did get my Ancient Mew card, and I had to like bust out this magazine from a year ago and try to like understand what it meant. Yeah, I don't know. Little God or Evil? Also, Birthday Pikachu. Fairly sure this thing is still really freaking expensive. Let's see, Happy Birthday Pikachu. As of late September, the card was selling more than 130. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a lot more than that now. Like a lot more. I'd have to look it up though. Enjoying the Pokemon butts? I don't know, for some reason I thought that said butts at first, because I'm a little bit dumb. There's another... Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So this is the holographic Mew that they were talking about on the cover, because yeah, the fossil set actually had Mew in Japan, but then they took it out for the US one for some reason. And and then this became I think a movie tie-in card. I want to say if you went to see the first movie, you would get either this, Mewtwo, Dragonite, or Pikachu, and they were all like movie exclusive. I like how they're explaining the pocket monster thing here. Like, why are we explaining this now? Like, we're 86 pages into this magazine, and we're just now getting into like, did you know that Pokemon is a big craze? So this fable is, I don't like that look it's making. Counterfeit alert. Only buy Mylar wrapped booster packs containing 11 cards. Well, shit, if I open up a sealed pack and there's fewer than 11 cards in there, then that's my fault for not knowing. I don't know, I'm not going to get into all this here. Can you spot the differences? Not really. I guess. Counterfeit card has an upside down Pokeball on its back. It's called flipping it over. I guess if it's like, if you turn it and it's upside down, then yeah. Like super energy removal. Well, yeah, I definitely remember these being some of the decks back in the day. I like how Mr. Mime just was its own deck. Does this go over the Mulligan Mewtwo deck? I hope it does. That doesn't look like it does. Haymaker. 2 Farfetch'd, 1 Chansey. 4 Super Energy Removal. Alright, so yeah, this is just going over each one of the cards. I'm not going to be focusing on these too much. I do definitely remember going through these and, like, copying the artwork of them all, though. Wait, Clefairy was a holo? That's weird. What does Metronome do here? Choose one of the defending Pokemon's attack. Metronome copies that attack except for its energy cost. Anything else is required to use that attack. Okay. Guess that's kind of cool. Okay, so let's look at the Mewtwo. I want to see what this one does again, because there was a really gimmicky strategy behind this. So, Psychic. Does 10 damage plus 10 more damage for each energy card attached to the defending Pokemon. Barrier. Discard 1 Psychic energy attached to Mewtwo in order to prevent all effective attacks, including damage done to Mewtwo during your opponent's next turn. So yeah, the Mewtwo Mulligan deck was, you can only have 4 of any Pokemon, so you have 4 Mewtwo's, and then you have the remaining 56 cards in your deck all be Psychic energy. And, I guess just... It's called a Mulligan deck because a Mulligan is like if you draw your 7 cards at the start of the game and none of them are a Pokemon, then you get to draw 7 more. So basically the idea is you make it rare to actually draw one of the Mewtwo's. You just have like a billion energy cards in your hand, and you attach them all to it, and you basically just make it so the opponent can't damage you. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure how effective that actually was. I like the shitty Electrode card. I don't know why, I just always found this one really derpy looking. Don't make a lightning deck without this chap. Can you zoom better, please? Yeah, I don't know. There's Arcanine. That was, okay, so that's uncommon. So what was my first rare card? Because my first pack had to have had one of them. Also, I didn't realize Beedrill was based on, I thought it was Jungle. I don't know if I had a holofoil in the first pack I got. It might have been Hitmonchan, now that I think about it. Or Electro, I don't know. Because every pack has 1 rare, 3 uncommon, and 9 common, I think. Plus like 2 energy. Or no, it was like 7 common and 2 energy. So yeah. Here's the rarely seen Kadabra, because it got banned from the card game. Also, I should probably mention, the Machamp card is basically known for being, like, there was like a certain starter set that you could buy where you would get one of these and it's always a first edition. And I don't remember if you could ever actually get Machamp from a booster pack. I think you might have had to buy that. Not sure. I remember having like a million Digletts. Yep, there's the Abra. That was the first card I ever got. Not really going to worry too much about this. Here's Puking Squirtle standing on a pile of puke. Weird, discolored Poliwag with blue lips. I like Fat Pikachu. Fat Pikachu is the best Pikachu. Computer search. De-evolution spray. Not sure why they never made that a thing in the actual games. There's not too many cases where it would be useful, but for learning moves that you missed by evolving, I guess that would be kind of cool. Imposter Professor Oak. Didn't that eventually make it into an episode? Also, this is, I find this interesting because this is totally an X Defend. And it's, I'm pretty sure, like, the actual graphics in the game were based on, I'd have to look at the sprite again, but I think they look like that. And this was way before they actually had item graphics. Yeah, and there's the X attack. I'm not sure why they're called Plus Power and Defender, though. I always liked this Pokemon Center card. It's interesting on there. Life Force In? Is that what that says? Oh, Life Force Inc., probably. Yeah, I don't know, it's weird. Also, on this Pokedex, if you look extremely closely, you can see a Dugtrio on the screen. Is it in English? Yeah, it's too small for me to really tell. Here's good old Bill, just draw 2 cards. I remember that one apparently being fairly broken. What is it with Weedle? Weedle's getting blown away by the gust of wind. It's getting, scooped up by the scoop up. I guess it's just the go-to thing to have moving for some reason. Also, this frickin' double colorless card, I remember being way rarer than it had any need to be. Like, it's uncommon, so it really should just be the same rarity as anything else in the uncommon group, but I, like, never found one of these. I don't know, maybe that was just me. And here's Jungle Set. Again, I'm just going to kind of blow through these. Don't particularly care too much about them. I do remember, though, when I was collecting the cards, I basically came to a point where I realized that, because I couldn't buy cards that often, like we couldn't really afford them, I wanted to try to get all of the common and uncommon, but I knew that I wasn't gonna get all the rare. So wait, ultra rare. What's that supposed to mean? That's weird. So I remember I had the non-holographic Nidoqueen card that I traded for like 5 or 6 other cards that were like common and uncommon, and I technically got a bad deal, but I was like okay with it because I filled out my collection a bit more. And I remember other people saying that I was dumb for doing that. Oh well. Here's weird 3D rendered Gloom. Just kind of standing on a stump. I always thought that was like a cliff, but I guess it's a stump. Also, here's the rarest of all Pokemon. Just regular-ass bird standing on Weepinbell's head. Remember that Pokemon? Just Hadoo. Common Hadoo. I don't know. Also, regular butterflies. I like when non-Pokemon animals show up in various early merchandise. Good old Fat Pikachu, as always. It's not the best Fat Pikachu. The best Fat Pikachu has already been seen multiple times in this magazine, but let me point it out again. Yeah, this one. I like that artwork. It's just very round and like not well defined, and it has a really long tail. I think that's how it should still look. It looks better that way. And price guide. Obviously not going to look through this too in depth. So Fossil was out, Team Rocket was out, Gym Leaders was out, Gym Leaders 2 was out, and I think that was the last set before the gold and silver ones, like the Neo set. Oh boy, Topps cards. Because these were worth anything ever. I don't know, they might be. I always just found these really unimpressive. I love this Bulbasaur artwork, though. That's a good pose you got going on there. Let's see, any other stupid poses worth making fun of? I'm sure there's going to be some. So far, these all seem fairly normal. What is some of this artwork from, though? Like, some of these are the Sugimori poses, and some of them I can't really tell. I guess just like shots from the anime. Yeah. Obviously, if I had this magazine, it would have been much easier to learn all the Pokemon, because here they are in order with names and pictures next to them. Did not have this when I first got into it. Oh, no, it only goes up to 76, then it stops. Then we have Ash Ketchum Trainer. Pikachu. Again. Also. Sorry, I had to do it. Misty Trainer, Brock Adventurer, Staryu, Geodude. Lawnmower outside. Ekans eating cables / Arbok. Coughing with ice coming out of its head / wheezing. And then just introduction card. Thank you, Lawnmower. I'm almost done with the magazine now, so it's okay. Oh. Well, they predicted cosplay Pikachu about 19 years early, so that's cool. And then there's just Oddish. And what appeared to be, let's see, there used to be a coughing there and probably a Bellsprout, and then they erased them. There's just the top of another Pikachu there. Oh, I like this right here, too. There's, come on. There's Pika-Cute, Poke-Cute. They didn't even try, did they? Bloob Ball, Water and Poison. Okay. What does it just have, like, bloody gums? What's going on there? And then Chickweepuff. Chickweepuff is an evolved Jigglypuff. Its attacks include Tail Whip, Thunderbolt, and Double Slap. Its eyes are well equipped to see in the dark, and the pupils will dilate or expand depending on light conditions. Okay. That's fine, I guess. And we've got last little bit of photos here with excitable faces. Amanda Pokemon cards. Well, I don't know how many different Amanda Pokemon cards there actually are. Probably 0, I'm going to say. Also, what is this Pikachu here? I don't care for this one at all. Hold on. Camera. Focus better on it. I want to see how stupid it looks. Come on, it looks amazing. The camera, you have to focus in on this. This is the last time I'll ask you to do this. Alright, hold on. See my hand? Now, focus. It's not going to show. There's like, it has this really derpy looking smile. You can kind of see it. Unless that's just his neck. Either way, it looks really dumb. Alright. There There's some kids on the ice. What's a dinosaur to dine? What's a sword to dine? What's a do? When there's. How well do you know Pokemon? Mewtwo, Moltres, Gyarados, Articuno. Like, what? Okay. Yeah, I think I can guess these. You guess the yo-yos by the feet? No, that's not a foot, my good sir. That is a yellow blob. I love the Pokédoll face. Also just the coughing face, because why not? And and they give the answers on the next page, just in case you're done. Alright. Well, that was fun. Join me next time when there might be something else. By that I mean I have no plans to do anymore, but you never know what I'll find.